Greetings, fellow Wacksters, and welcome back to the next episode of Tyranny. So, we have unlocked another one of these spires. The Sunset Spire at Lethian's Crossing, and we have the one at Lethian's Well. So it seems like we can build stuff at these places. Huh. Someone from the Master City who was able to acquire valuable items left unattended. Lofang, an old beast woman who regularly provides food to take into battle. So we can hire all these people. We can only hire 6. A merchant with a motley collection of items for sale. Rivas will also collect or create camping supplies periodically. And this is where on the map they are. Edict of Stone, Edict of Fire, Edict of Storms. No active edict, no active edict. Okay, so we need to stop the edicts, perhaps? Interesting. What are this? Scroll, so resources, and this is power. So, if we build here a... Constructing training grounds allow you to recruit the finest skilled trainers in the tiers. Once built, resting in any spire grants a bonus to accuracy, athletics, and subterfuge. Constructing a library on a spire allows you to research magical knowledge, edicts, and artifacts once built. The infirmary allows you to brew potions and other consumables. Once built, resting in any spire grants endurance, will, and magic defense. Okay, so we actually need all of those. Ancient device perched atop the mountain spire manager as well. Okay, so that's the weird device. We have no idea what it is yet. Well, let's start with building a forge. We're sure you want to build this upgrade on this spire. This action cannot be cancelled. Oh, so we need to decide which spires they go to. So what happens if we hire him? You just gotta hire. Okay. Let us build the library then. And see what that does. Oh, so the library becomes a part of the top of the spire. Interesting. You acquired a second spire. All spires are linked, allowing you to travel instantly between them. This will reduce your travel time through the tiers. You can upgrade spires you discover building new structures on top of them. Each upgrade will provide you with different benefits. Click on the spire icon or H to select an upgrade for your new spire. Upgrades take time and money to build and money to maintain. If you no longer have the money to maintain an upgrade, it will be suspended and you will no longer receive its benefits until you are able to pay the maintenance cost. There are 5 resources you can find in Kairos' tiers that can be used to power upgrades to your spire. They are scrolls, iron ingots, bronze ingots, alchemy supplies, and hide. Each upgrade uses different resources. Okay. Sage Garrus. Greetings, Fatebinder. The sage bows low before you, the quills in his hood brushing the ground. Who are you and how did you get into my spire? He takes a cautious step back. Garrus, I'm your scribe and researcher. I've heard great things about you, about this place. The library here is incredible. If you don't mind my saying so. He quails back with uncertainty and fear. When I heard about the library you were building, I just had to come. I watched the workers as they hauled the stone and scrolls up here. There was an awful lot and they were very tired. So I did what little I could to assist. Then on the last day, as everyone was leaving, I just stayed behind. I don't remember hiring you. Well, if you want to hold strictly to the truth, you didn't. But I never let details like that stop me in the past. Sage Tacitus always encouraged me to show ambition ahead of restraint, and I am nothing if not a student of good advice. He straightens his posture and clears his throat. With your permission, of course. Why are you here? I take it you'll need someone to organize this collection of scrolls, someone to catalog new texts as you discover them, and someone to organize research efforts. As your scribe, I can do all three. In fact, I'm excited to get started. I've already started looking through your collection, and he cuts himself off in 6. To be honest, I need the work. The Vellum Citadel isn't exactly up to its old standards, and I'm afraid there aren't many safe places where a sage can find employ during the war. What can you research for me? Oh, any number of topics. Magic, alchemy, history of the world. You have an impressive collection. Not as large as the Vellum Citadel, perhaps, but no sense in crying over burnt parchment. I've started compiling a list of possible research topics. Allow me to show you. Artifacts. No. We require a lot more scrolls. Okay. I want Lantry instead of this.
So, your latest acquisition has me thinking about the spires some more. By all accounts, they go as far back as the old walls. Over the centuries, the nobles of the tiers have claimed the spires, but they've only ever battled over the land at the ground level of the monuments. I've never seen the glyphs of a spire light up in all my years. Not until you show up. If this were an isolated incident, I'd be confused. But it seems the spires, plural, are somehow connected to you. What's your secret?
I've studied at two nuns' feet, proclaimed edicts, broken them too. I'm sure I've been exposed to all sorts of arcane powers. Perhaps Tunon or one of the archons did something to me. It surprised me as well. A long sick escapes Lantry, and he sticks his quill in his mouth, chewing on the tip. His head tilts from one side to the other, muttering inchoate half-words. I always wanted to know what you're thinking. I always want to know what you're thinking.
If I had the words for it, I'd share. I'm just not sure what to make of it. I'm realizing how much more there is to learn.
Have a moment. Let's talk further. So what's on your mind? Let's put it back into the party.
I will, I can sober up on the road. Ready to go.
Instead of ebb. There we go. And level up for him as well. Let's give him one more vitality. Definitely needs the health. Armor, 6 armor, 8 armor. I think another arcane shield or gifted healer. Tired of him falling early in battle. Ricochet. Grazes and misses with ranged attacks bounce to enemies behind their target. Huh. Fire a projectile in a large arc, hitting all enemies with a cone. Let's do the ricochet. Let's turn up dark in the sky as well.
Right.
Oh, I forgot to level this up. Nonetheless, let's take another finesse. See, there's a little bit of loot up here. Oh, some scrolls. Perhaps that's what we needed. Talk to Garrus once more. Maybe we can research now. I want to research something. Oh, we need recruits at the library. Okay, well, let's continue onwards. Ah, so we'll teleport as a part of it. That's nice. Is there anything up here? Oh, it doesn't seem like it, just mountains. So these are the lands we will be able to go to in this campaign, basically. I wonder if we can get inside the mountains. So there's one spire here, and one here. And these two which we already have captured. Let's just check the quest log. This favorite general has regrouped his forces at the mountain fortress of Ironhearth. Travel there to discuss the Archon of War's next move. And this is uncover evidence. Seats of power. Across the tiers, there are a number of spires that dot the horizon. The two you have claimed have proven to be valuable assets to the war effort in the tiers. Claiming the rest should help you widen your conquest. Aha, so here we can get the recruits we need. Skill trainer who focuses lore, control fire, control lightning, and okay. A merchant with a collection of rare magical scrolls. A scribe and lore seeker regularly provides scrolls to further research. Yes. And we need one more. Skill trainer who teaches subterfuge and the use of magic staff. Stone control, astrophy control force. Conquest. A master trainer who teaches control gravelight and control illusion. There we go. Then we should have two, right? Yes, we do. Conduct research to find recipes for new items. Great. What is the status of the research? The work continues, of course. He wipes away the deep circles under his eyes, leaving a smear of black ink. I'll notify you as soon as we have results. Okay, wonderful. Are we done at Lethian's Crossing, or should we check out all those houses? Now, let's continue onwards to Ironhearth. First we teleport, and then we go. No ambushes this time, fortunately. Use the plus and minus keys on the numpad to toggle fast and slow modes when playing the game. This is the Great Fortress. Heights.
I'd say that's worth a sec.
Yoja's calling. Ooh.
second glance.
Wonderful. Let's give that to him. Control life. Yeah. That's exactly what we need on our heal. It doesn't need this. Let's see what else we'll find here. Welcome to Ironhearth. Akalos. Greetings, Fatebinder. Akalos, 32nd Legion. The soldier salutes. Glad to see Tunan's agent grace Ironhearth. Ashe's troop has no lack of order, but a servant of the court is always welcome. Between our missing commanders and a Scarlet Chorus lieutenant pinned down, I'm afraid we have our hands full. I suppose I can spare a moment for conversation. You need something from me. Tell me about the Scarlet Chorus, Lieutenant. Seems our troops have this little maggot of a Scarlet Chorus lieutenant cornered over at the Seado village. From what I'm hearing, it's the same guy who's been ransacking our caravans the past few weeks. If I wasn't already handling something for Ashe, I'd go and skin the filth myself. You being here simplifies matters. Make sure this lieutenant doesn't leave the village with his life. I will handle it. Good of you to pitch in. No one will mourn the loss of one more chorus rat. It marks the location on your map. I have questions before I go. No problem. What do you need? Naturally, you have my undivided attention. Where were you during the conquest? You could say I've seen the tiers from top to bottom. I docked latrines at our encampment at the Gates of Judgment. Then my promotion sent me to Lithian's Crossing. Got into a few rows with the Bronze Brotherhood. Not a pretty sight. Then I had a brief deployment in Apex, but the fighting was winded down around when I arrived. After that, I did a tour at Stalwart, but got transferred before the edict tore everything apart. Tell me about your home in the north. I hail from Balmiwal, a small hamlet far west of Kairos' capital. It's nothing glorious, but I can trace 6 generations back there, so it's home. I hope to return there someday with a heap of tales, rings, and renown. Once Graven Ashe gave me his favor and recruited me to join the army, my family went from the respectable farmers to elite folk. Better regarded or respected than damn near anyone, they must be doing well for themselves. How did you join the disfavor? Ahead of the conquest, Graven Ashe sent recruiters to all the outlying towns, looking for worthy talent. The village held a tourney and a melee to demonstrate our local muscle. Nothing fancy, mind you. It was mostly fighting on hay bales with wooden spears. I had the distinction of toppling even the biggest contender. A familiar tale, the one after my own heart, Eric nods with respect. And farewell. Okay. Let's check out these guys. Alfonso. The disfavored soldier chuckles with disdains at the Scarlet Chorus fighter. Consider it not for a second. We pick our soldiers from elite, northern families. We don't recruit from flies buzzing over a mass grave. Are the disfavored so narrow-minded? My gang's strength delivered us across half a dozen battles with a line of fallen enemies in our wake. Not many conscripts can say the same. The question is not a matter of your skill, but of your breeding, your training, your pedigree. Noticing you, the Iron Guard salutes. Hail, Graven Ashe, Fatebinder. If I might take a moment of your time. What do you need? This person comes representing a Scarlet Chorus gang. What did you call yourself again? The Grinning Bleeders. We have a long and storied reputation in the Scarlet Chorus ranks. Killers of the highest order, my gang. He puffs up his chest with pride. Before I was boss here, I ran with the Broken Shits, the Salty Nightmares, and Trap Gang. Everyone made a name for themselves during the war. You made up at least 2 of those gangs, and don't even bother denying it. Just be careful what names you toss around when there's a former boss standing with an earshot, you little pissant. One of his eyebrows snaps at attention. Verse. So kind of you to chime in with your corrections. In any case, he's going to join the disfavored, which is out of the question. I've explained the numerous reasons why we cannot allow it, but the wretch won't listen. So, is that accurate? It is. We're not looking for special treatment, just a new beginning. Seeing as we're healthy, fit, and combat ready, the Ironclads should have no reason to refuse us. He sniffs, especially since they're low on numbers. That may be true, but it's no excuse to pollute our respectable ranks with your company. We're more than capable. Put any weapon in our hands or send us on any suicide mission, it'll be mercy compared to what we faced under the voices of Narod. That much is true, at least. There's something to be said for a general who isn't going to gut you in your sleep because it suits his flair for the artistic. Those are the first fair words I've heard you speak about General Ashe. Perhaps you're coming around. Then you can count on them being the last, you overfull mitten pile. If we joined up, the disfavored wouldn't have to compromise their staunch northern morals. We would take the bloody work off their hands. Do you want me to decide the matter? You must know Kairos' laws back to front, and I trust you know our traditions as well. If it peels these lamprey off my backside, I'll allow it. Speaking for my gang, we'll accept your judgment. We're eager to crack some Tearsman's skulls with Kairos' army again, no matter what color they wear. Let me take your testimony first. Of course I have nothing to hide. Why can't the recruits join the disfavored? Most of us would rather swallow our tongues than take orders from some rigid officer who talked his way into leadership, but to reach their own. Where do I start? Not only does Graven Ashe hand-pick his disfavored from the decorated northern stock, he takes a personal interest in our training and education. We are his sons and daughters. To accept anything less in our ranks would hold the very process in contempt. The only capacity they could serve would be manual labor, hauling wagons or digging latrines. But that's the work of slaves and not what they've come requesting. Why this interest in the disfavored? Better training, better quarters, iron weapons? The disfavored have everything we wanted out of joining the military. We want to serve Kairos to the best of our abilities. Is that asking too much? Old Ironclad here seems to think so. The respect for command leaves something to be desired. Why did you leave the Scarlet Chorus? Our old gang boss fell at the last battle of Venderance Well. We saw how the disfavored operated and realized it was a chance for a better life, a longer one too. Desertion happens every day in the Scarlet Chorus. I can tell you that we won't be missed. He says that like he's boasting. Only the shit-heel recruits who never make a name for themselves are overlooked at muster. What is my help worth to you? We're playing that game, are we? He grins. I managed to pocket a few handful of rings, fair trade for starting a new life. Stealing from the boss is a good way to find yourself at the end of a pike. Be prepared to change your name before the end of this war. Accept rings, you can train with the disfavored, but I can't allow you to join. No deal. As you wish. You're ruling, so I'm ready to make my ruling. Good. Whatever's fair, we're prepared to stand by it. You abandon your duties, execution is only recourse. Gain average favor, gain average wrath. You're no longer in the military. Go live civilian lives and keep Kairos' peace as best as you can. I consign you to hard labor, hauling wagons, digging latrine. Gain average wrath, gain average favor. Second thought, allow me to consider my questions. Let's consign them to hard labor. No, that's just civilians. Mercy, compassion, more than they deserve, but I'm glad to see it all the same. We've seen too much in the Scarlet Chorus to return to a normal life, but I won't deny that putting down roots is a tempting idea. In time, the chorus may just conscript us all over again. As long as it gets them out of Ashe's force, it suffices for my needs. Thank you, Fatebinder. Wonderful. So we got rid of that. Let's check out what Foxtrix and Ominous over here have to do. Kinda you just stop and chat. I'm in a sticky situation and no one in my gang is alive or around to help me out. Stop wasting the Fatefinder's time. He has better things to do than listen to some criminal's mewling. I'll be the judge of that. Tell me your problem, soldier. Thanks for hearing me out. The disfavored aren't keen on conversation. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. It's impossible to get a word in edgewise. She glares at her captor. Soldiers caught me outside a breach in the old walls. That's it. I wasn't inside, I hadn't stuck my toe through the threshold, and I wasn't dancing with any bane. I have a healthy relationship with self-preservation. Then why were you arrested? You're only hearing one side of the story, Fatebinder. Our scouts observed this wretch readying to enter the old walls. Her account is flawed, her guilt witnessed by multiple trustworthy Northerners. The soldier makes a point of standing extra straight when he addresses you. I'm sorry, is readying to enter the best you have? Because I could just as easily argue that you're readying to get knifed between your shoulder blades, but it doesn't count for shit until I see blood and bronze. I didn't go into the old walls, case closed. Before I adjudicate on this matter, I need your mutual cooperation. If you ask me, this prisoner has already been tried and sentenced, but if this little game will silence her caterwauling, then be my guest. I'll stand by your decision. It couldn't land me anywhere worse than this. What were you doing outside the old walls? My gang went inside as I tried to tell the disfavored clods 100 times over. I shouted at myself raw trying to get them back out, but the gang was not having none of it. Our leader discovered the breach and got himself excited over the chance of finding treasure. Try as I might, I couldn't talk him out of it. Soldier, can you speak to this defense? I wasn't there, of course, but I'm familiar with the arrest record. There was no gang, just a lone opportunist out to make her fortune breaking Kyros's laws. The scouts could tell just by looking at her that she was heading for the breach. She's a fiery one. Put up quite a fight when they took her in custody. I have no reason to doubt the charges. So you had no interest to entering the old walls? Never. I grew up in the tiers. Even we knew better than go inside the old walls. If not because of Kyros's law, because the things lurking inside were like to eat us. Whatever you can find in the shadows of those ruins, it's not worth the risk. What was your gang doing in the old walls? Causing trouble, looting, no more or less than what gangs do. Our boss was obsessed with holding his position, which is healthy when you are in the Scarlet Chorus. When he came to the conclusion that the old walls might have some powerful artifacts, he resolved himself to find one at all costs. Funny to see a guy so wrapped up in survival trying to get himself killed. Typical behavior from someone who isn't confident in their leadership. Makes for a nice self-fulfilling prophecy when their own gang takes them down. See? She understands. Fox tricks bows to verse. Any idea where your gang is now? I never saw them make it out of the old walls. So either they did or they didn't. My money is on the latter. If they made it out, they aren't wasting their best time to find me, so fuck them. I like the attitude. If I had a mind to recruit, she would be my second or third. What's a favorable ruling worth to you? She snorts. I'd love to help you there, but the disfavor took everything I had. Pity. I had a mountain of rings that I would have split. You can thank our mutual friend over there. She nods to the stone shield. The young lady was captured with some rusted weapons and a pittance of rings. I would hardly call that a mountain. You have your story, I have mine. Did your gang cause the breach in the old walls? What? Are you kidding me? It would either take incredible force or incredible magic to bash through that ancient barrier. We had neither at our disposal. Either one of Kyros's edicts or some local mage caused that breach. Whatever ruling you make, don't pin that on me. I'm inclined to agree. Don't make the mistake of giving this one too much credit. I'm ready to make my judgment. Let's have it then. I hope you got everything you need. I don't trust your testimony. I find you guilty. If you weren't in the old walls, you weren't in the old walls. I'll rule in your favor. Lore. At the very least, the evidence is insufficient to prove the charges. You're free to go. On second thought, let me return to my previous questions. Okay. I don't trust your testimony, I find you guilty. Is this a fucking joke? Because I'm not laughing. Whether guilty of this or some other atrocity, it makes no difference. She belongs in chains. I'll just bet you're trying to curry favor with the disfavored. And I'm sitting in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, I'm on one's bargaining chips. I'm no one's bargaining chips. Do you hear me? Kyros's knuckles. You babble loud enough to topple a spire. Fatebinder, thank you for your time. Very well.
Found something.
Please, another epic item? No, not yet. Osmia. You must be the Fatebinder of Tunon. The disfavored Iron Walker bows. Welcome to Ironhearth. I'm sure that Graven Ashe appreciates any help you can offer. Circumstances have a way of coming together so that the disfavored are always stretched thinner than we would like. What can I do for you? Why are the disfavored so overworked? She rubs her palms together and frowns. We're trying to shoulder the brunt of the civil war without the strength of numbers. The Scarlet Chorus can throw 1,000 disposable bodies at an issue without a second thought, but we're forced to be a little more discriminating. We might be training to deal with the stress of combat and all-night drills, but we're fatigued even by the high standards we set for ourselves. She studies you in a cautious manner. Not that I need to burden an agent of the court with my misgivings. Once the war is over and the tears are properly subdued, my hope is that Kairos dispatches some relief troops to support the occupation. We'll all deserve a season of rest. The court is always receptive to the needs of soldiers. Your point is noted. I hope you fight as well as you can, plain soldier. Nah. That's very generous of you to say, Fatebinder. I'm grateful to know that someone is listening. A nervous smile brightens her expression. Where were you during the conquest? Nah, I'll be on my way. No need to hear everyone's sob story. Let's see what the quartermaster has. Even though you're not a fully fledged disfavored recruit, I've been authorized to grant you purchasing rights from our store, within certain limits, of course. What limits are those? It's nothing personal, I assure you. Graven Ashe wants us to control our supplies without restricting access to his army's supporters like yourself. The finest arms and freshest provisions are reserved for the soldiers under his direct command. I'm sure you understand. The Archon takes our protection very seriously. Understood. Is an agent of the court not deserving enough? The soldier hesitates. As Tunon's vassal, I'm sure that you are afforded certain luxuries that don't extend to us. The same goes for the disfavored. Archon Ashe recruited us from the Northern Empire, so we're subject to his favor. Such is his right. The quartermaster scratches the back of his head. This is a slight, a disgrace. I demand compensation. No need for wrath. Oh, actually, sure. You're demanding trouble is what you're doing, but I don't have any cause to run afoul of Archon Ashe's supporters. How's about a one-time recompense to the tune of 50 rings? Payment for any theoretical losses you've suffered. That wouldn't pay to polish my boots. Try harder. That wouldn't pay to... Let's push him. I didn't have you pegged as one to push generosity to its limits, but it wouldn't be the first time I was proven wrong. 75, take it or leave it. We have a deal. Glad we could finally see eye to eye. I have a hard enough time turning a profit without dueling out these expensive apologies. Show me your wares. So we got a little bit of rings from that. Interesting. Not a lot. So... Superior Spear, Superior Iron Sword, Superior Javelin. Yeah, can't equip it, so it doesn't really matter, even though it would be nice. Earthshaker's Robes. Can we use it? No. Oathbound Lieutenant's Leathers. Lightweight. Instant recovery time. Nah, I think we're good. Grab the sword. Heal nearby allies when defeated. Passive. Ally, not self. Ah, so when he falls, everyone else gets healed. Nah, that's fine. And let's enter and see Graven Ashe. And figure out if he actually speaks the truth or not. But it seems like that it is Voices of Murat that is the bad guy in this instance. Ah, here he is. And here's the army. And down here, no. Let's talk to Graven Ashe. Fatebinder, no one in recent history has reached the pinnacle of a spire, and yet you step to the top as if they were intended for your occupation. What do you have to say for yourself? They offer certain strategic advantages. I'm still figuring out what it could mean. If they help me conduct this war, then you should have nothing to complain about. They offer strategic advantages. So you only regard them as tactical bastions. Perhaps that is best. Whatever power raised the spires and holds them aloft, better than that you not let it preoccupy your efforts. What is it that you require? How can I continue my services after this favor? Want to know my These are troubled times for all, but none more so than the forces of Kyros. Our organized offense has splintered loyalties, are challenged at every level of command, and much that we have built during the conquest crumbles under its own weight. We had thought the Vendrian Guard were the final death rattle of this region's defiance. We were wrong. The Tears have risen up against Kyros, emboldened by their countrymen, and while the disfavored labor to maintain order, the Serpent, the voices of Nerat, grows his army of lunatics and sellswords, preparing to lash out when we least expect it. I can only imagine that the Voices is driving his gangs mad with plots to storm this fortress. There can be no peace while the Voices of Nerat lives, and no order while the Scarlet Chorus rampage across these lands. The elimination of chaos must be our first priority. Then we will have our time to govern the Tears as Kyros intended. Can I depend upon your support against this scourge? What would you have me do? Our position of authority in the Blade Grave is far from secure. We need to establish ourselves in the region in order to cultivate our strength for the battle to come. As soon as I am confident in our chances, we will depart this realm and wipe the Chor's threat from the face of Terratus. The unbroken, former daughters and sons of Stalwart vex our efforts to secure this region. The Edict of Storms offers them cover. They slip past our patrols in the light of day, hiding their movements behind clouds of dust and debris. Kyros cast this blight on the country to set an example, not to plague those of us loyal to the north. You must travel to Sentinel's Stand and seek out Stratus Herodin. He is the last of the old stalwart bloodline who called themselves regents. Put him to the sword and end this edict once and for all. Who is Stratus Herodin? The last of an elder bloodline that ruled Stalwart and maintained its dignity. He is also a filthy coward. During the last battle of Stalwart, he crouched behind the walls of Sentinel's Stand Keep and refused to meet our forces on the field of battle. Why is he so important to the edict? He would neither surrender nor impel his soldiers to do so. As such, Kyros decrees that storms would ravage the country until the regent was dead. Stratus Herodin was free to kill himself, of course, but he was either too proud or too gutless for the task. Why has no one killed Herodin yet? Because he persists in crouching behind the walls of Sentinel's Stand. With the Edict of Storms raging around the citadel, no one has been able to enter or exit since the last year of the conquest. No bird or missive has left the Windwall either. The Edict is all the proof we have that Herodin still lives. Tell me of the Edict of Storms. Kyros visited this plague upon the people of Stalwart to punish their leader's cowardice. We had thought the edict would have been dispelled long ago, but to our dismay it endures. The rust and debris filling the air is a source of a constant irritation and hampers our ability to conduct this war on our terms. You should consider the subjugation of Stalwart and the ending of this edict task of equal importance. Thankfully, your goals are well matched. The persistence of the edict is tied to Herodin's bloodline. Kyros decreed that the storms will continue until the last of the regents is slain. End the regents to end the edict and return to me victorious. I understand what I must do. I'll make for the Blade Grave at once. Find the last regent, kill him, and end this edict of storm, and staunch this seeping wound of rebellion once and for all. The downfall of the unbroken and the old regent will send a message throughout the Tears. Our rule is absolute, and dissidence will not be tolerated. Could we not find a common ground for the people of Stalwart? I will travel to Sentinel Stand and judge to my findings. Consider it done. There's one final matter to discuss. My daughter went missing in the second year of the conquest. I have reason to believe she is trapped in the fortress of Sentinel Stand. If you can't find Amelia, bring her home to me. Oh. How do you know she's in Sentinel Stand? It is the one location also of Stalwart we cannot reach. If her detachment of soldiers was taken captive, she would have been displaced. She would have been placed beyond my power. No doubt for the southern wretches to use for negotiation. His expression twists with distaste. Tell me about Amelia. She has her father's stubborn persistence. She is an excellent fighter, though more brazen and eager to test herself on the field of battle. I have objected to this disposition in the past, but it seems an integral to her being as the very breath she draws. Our relationship has endured its challenges the last several years. I have seen a better general to her than a father. Once the war is over and she is restored to the Legion, I hope we can find it in ourselves to know each other once more. What makes you think she's still alive? We have traveled together through this fallen, corrupt land. You are no doubt aware of the ages. Graven Ashe are warriors capable of shielding his soldiers from injury and fatigue. This protective influence exerts itself even from far away as he sleeps. If he sleeps. Rumors disagree. If you understand, I extend to my troops. It is in the boon I grant my Northerners for loyal service and devotion to our shared cause. As my army feels my guardianship, I am keenly aware of them in turn. Their concern, their pain, it is my burden to carry as their leader. Amelia is alive. I have awoken at night in cold sweats, my bile rising with violence. What torment she suffers at the hands of those stalwart animals is a mystery. I only want her restored to heal in the company of the Legion. Could she have willingly abandoned her duties? If I find her, I'll ensure her safe return. Sounds like a conflict of interest. I'll bring her back if I have time. This is all I ask. Amelia is but one soldier. Yet, if I had the forces to dispatch, I would make her retrieval my highest priority. She is a commander of the highest renown and a paragon of the Northern values. Fatebinder, I offer you my support in this mission. The Blade Grave is a place of memory. I left many cohorts buried among those ruins, and no small part of myself as well. Could you elaborate? The matter is a sensitive one, but I fear to speak it in the company of the great general, though he doubtless knows it already. Beric attempts to stand tall before Graven Ashe. Speak on, son of Barry Conan. Nothing I've seen you accomplish in the field has diminished you in my eyes, and I know my soldiers as well as I know myself. Ashe nods with approval. I lost countrymen by the hundreds in the last day of the Stalwart campaign, and for my troubles I became fused in this armor. The Blade Grave is the last place I ever felt human. That is all I will say about it now. The last battle of Stalwart was a terrible time, perhaps most of all for you who survived. I mourn those who we lost, and recite their names often during the morning drills. We cannot restore their broken bodies to the north, but we can remember them as they were. I'll consider your offer, but I make no promises. You have much invested in this mission. Of course you can accompany me. I appreciate that, Fatebinder. Graven Ashe is attentive and understanding to each of his troops, and it pleases me to see his example in you. And in you, Armored One. Never forget that I found you at the mere germination of your potential, and you have accomplished much in the ensuing years. Thank you, General. Though it's impossible to tell through his helmet, you assume that Beric is blushing. Your map is already marked with the position of the Sentinel Stand. It would take me 100 lifetimes to forget those old walls, or the day the edict shattered our advance. I have further questions for the Archon of War. Ask, Fatebinder. Take care with your time. The Unbroken crawl over this territory like ants, unchecked by the Northern boot. The Unbroken Legion was the proud and accomplished army of the realm of Stalwart. Ah, okay. Let's just continue onwards. However, it seems that we are out of time for this episode. So, see you guys in the next one when we will going to Sentinel Stand in Stalwart. And hopefully be able to rescue Amelia and end the Edict of Storms. Have a good one. Wack.